Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to Doctor Podcast featuring Dr. London Smith.com. Introducing Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of medical terms that I've been using, such as piloerection and oogity boogity. So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Where were you?
Okay,
Tell me, where were you?
Okay. A few seconds ago, I was still here.
Okay.
If that's what you're getting at.
Do you need more context?
If that doesn't answer the question.
I have been trying this new way of entering into a conversation very abruptly, and people get very mad about the lack of context. Because,
I'm not mad.
I'll sort of burst into a room going, where are you?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I'm here. And people get very mad. And I think getting mad at me is bad, and it makes me mad.
Well, so here's what I see as the problem.
Okay.
It's not the context. It's that you tore the door off the hinges to do that.
Well, I'm a strong little boy. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you burst in, you slam the door, and there are wood chips everywhere now. And
yeah, because I have this.
So I don't think
I have the strength of a mountain. I have the strength of a big elephant because I'm a strong little boy.
Yeah.
Is that
a mountain elephant?
But this is all you're trying to change the conversation because you want to avoid answering the question. Where were you?
Well,
Last night, I was doing my nightly check before I went to bed, where I go by everyone's houses. I go by DJ Dylan's house. I look through all of his windows, and I make sure his DJ set is still spinning at night, and I make sure that his headphones are snugly on his head and positioned so he can fall asleep easily. And I go by your house, Dr. London. I peer through your window like I always do. Where were you?
Okay.
This is for our listeners. Typically, when it's 9:30. Let's say it's around Dr. London's bedtime. I go
PM.
Yeah, I peek through his window. I see Dr. London in there, and he's usually got his sleeping cap on, and he's wearing pajamas, and he's got a melting candle on a little glass plate that he is holding. He's sort of holding through the house as he's putting out each individual lamp and candle and everything throughout the house. And so usually...
It's also how I cook my food. Like I cook my food with a candle as well. That's obviously after dinner.
Yeah, that's your own business.
That's when you're catching me.
My department is sleepy time, and you're talking about dinner time, and that is a whole different area. I can't mentally switch there right now.
One leads to the other. So to me, it's difficult to separate. But go on.
Okay, well, dinner is not sleepy time. Okay, this is irrelevant.
No, it leads in.
I peek into your house last night, Dr. London.
Okay.
And what do I see? I see, no, Dr. London, I see the plate with the candle on it, unlit. I see your sleeping cap just laying out on your bed waiting for you to put it on. But no, Dr. London, he is not there. Where were you?
Now, don't be mad. Okay?
I am already furious. I was furious, obviously, when I started this conversation. I'm heated as hell. So I am mad. I might not get madder. I can do that. I can control that for you.
I'm not sure, given what I say. Okay. So, like I said, I normally have dinner. And then whenever you eat a lot of food, the blood rushes to your belly, out of your brain, and it makes you sleepy. So what happened last night? I learned about, and this was news to me. There's fast food. I don't have to cook my food with a candle. They actually, if you go to a place, like there's what was the name of it? It was a Taco Bell. You can go there. So
sure,
yeah, new to me as well. So I went to this place.
But I mean, it's not going to be.
Bell.
I don't understand. It's like food is food. It's not going to be faster than cooking a candle. You're just going somewhere else, and they're cooking the food with the candle.
Yeah, I know, but I'm guessing they start earlier because for me it's a 16, 17-hour process.
Sure.
Because I have a roast goose every night, and to do that, of course, you have to start early with a little tallow candle.
Yeah.
So,
and you've got to deal with the stuffing, and you've got to deal with cranberry sauce and
the guests. It's a whole So anyway, so I'm at the Taco Bell, and I get there and I tell them I want a taco, and that's I clued in with the name that's probably what they had. So told them I wanted a taco.
Okay.
And then they gave it to me just in minutes, literally just minutes.
Well, I mean, how many? 300, 400 minutes, 500.
Okay, no, good question. No, it was I think 2 minutes.
Well,
and
okay,
I saw
you don't
them.
have to I know this is sort of I know this is a medical education podcast, but we have fun and it's sort of a comedy podcast too. But you don't have to tell jokes on the show, Dr. London. I mean, how many hundreds of minutes did it take?
Okay, and it's once again the reason my mind was boggled is because it took so little time. It took and I had my stopwatch, which I usually do for cooking, and it didn't break this time. It just stopped.
Yeah, well, because you call it a stopwatch, you are using an egg timer, which those famously only go up to a single minute.
Yeah.
And so you're doing this for 16, 17 hours, a single minute at a time.
Yeah. And then I mark on the wall, a little mark for each time that I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 through it. You do a jail cell to count your days there. So I do the same thing for my cooking process. But yeah,
just counting. You don't have to describe it as like you're in a jail cell. It's just counting.
Yeah, and why would I even know about the jail cell thing? So, anyway, yes, I do my stopwatch, and before the stopwatch finishes, they bring me my food, and so then I'm
no,
and it's so fast and not labor intensive that I eat, and then I guess I just had so much time because that was at 1 p.m. when I did that. Normally, once again, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
So
then what did you do with the rest of your day? I don't understand.
Yeah,
because
I booked a flight and went to Cabo.
Oh, okay. I guess that sort of makes sense.
Well, yeah, because the meal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you were full, and so of course you're going to head on down to Cabo.
Yeah. Okay, I had the time because of fast food. So that's that's how that played out.
Okay, I mean,
are you mad?
I just wanted to know. I guess I'm mad that you didn't get permission beforehand.
Yeah.
Which that sort of breaks a lot of our trust that we've built up over years.
With therapy, yeah.
But I know you've been saying that you really needed some me time. So I thought for a long time you were talking about me time, because when you say me, I think, well, I'm me. And so when you said I need me time, I thought you meant you need
Cameron time.
Time.
But and that's sometimes the case. That is what I'm saying sometimes.
See, you have to clarify because I get really, really confused here. But it sounds like you had some vacation time, you had some you time, and it sounds like you had a pretty good time, Dr. London. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't really know if you had a good time or care. Yeah. I haven't heard about that, and I'm not interested. I just wanted to know where you were.
No, it was business.
But you're tonight, 9:30. You're going to be there, right? When I check on you.
I really can't say. This fast food thing's really, really exciting for me.
I don't like you getting involved with dark arts. If this is involved occultic stuff or magic stuff that they're using spells or whatever to heat this stuff fast, that's fun in books and Harry Potter and all that stuff, but you should not be messing with that.
If that's how they do this, we need to look into this. But anyway, so that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the House. Digital in the House. Digital in the House.
Where were you?
Taco Bell.
Tell me.
Taco Bell. I don't have to cook my food with a candle. I don't have to cook my food with a candle. They actually, if you go to a place, like there's a Taco Bell, I don't have to cook my food with a candle. I don't have to cook my food with a candle.
Where were you?
Taco Bell.
Tell me.
Taco Bell. I don't have to cook my food with a candle. I don't have to cook my food with a candle. I booked a flight and went to Cabo. 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 And later, Cameron tells me we can expect a special guest. So
that is correct, Dr. London.
Yeah,
the
look forward
very,
to that.
very special most guest indeed.
Okay. Before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. This note comes from a smartphone. The note reads, quote, "You announced earlier this week that you've taken a vow of silencing others as a form of meditation. Has that helped clear your mind?" End quote. So Cameron, I know you took that vow of silencing others.
Yeah, this is definitely, I think this question is definitely directed towards me.
Yeah,
I found a lot of peace in this sort of practice. I learned this practice from my neighbor's dog walker.
Okay. They told you
So-
to shut
and
up
he was-
a lot? Is that...
Well, he was shoving me to the ground a lot.
Okay.
And the thing is that I'm being silenced by being hitting the ground at a sort of great speed.
And that's bad. Or good?
He seemed very zen.
Okay.
And very like with it put together at peace.
Gotcha.
And so I sort of had to assume like, okay, so maybe like actually you hear about these monks on these mountains or whatever taking this vow of silencing others and you think like that's not going to do anything for me spiritually.
Yeah.
But then you see this guy, my neighbor's dog walker, shove me to the ground every time he sees me. I just run up to him and I say hi and he just pushes me. I see how at peace he is and I start to wonder, okay.
And you've been...
You know what? Maybe I need to stop being so cynical.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to be more open to these sort of spiritual, larger experiences. So I've been shoving people to the ground, little kids, old ladies. There was a priest who was walking with a rabbi, and I shoved them both to the ground.
Okay, so no discriminating then. It's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
not one harder than the other or anything like that. Or
okay. Yeah, I mean, equality is good, I guess. So do you feel more zen? Do you feel more at peace? Clear mind?
I feel okay. So I feel like it actually might have been counterintuitive because every time I shove someone to the ground, I get really like pumped up to shove someone else to the ground, and it sort of causes this domino effect. I was at a grocery store recently, and there was a line. There's a line of about 30 people, and I was trying to center myself because I was frustrated at such a long line. So, I shoved the person in front of me, but that got me amped up again. And so then one at a time, domino effect. Shove,
Yeah.
shove, until I'm all the way at the front and I'm able to leave quicker than everyone else. And I hate that I had to do that, Dr. London.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But so you didn't like the feeling at the end. Was it like guilt?
I was tired. I was exhausted.
Okay. Well,
and so you can see like I'm trying to find Zen, but how am I going to find Zen when I'm so tired from getting into these altercations with people where I'm sort of just grabbing them by their shoulders and shoving them to the ground?
Yeah. Zen and sleepiness aren't necessarily the same, but I think there is some overlap. So to our listener who's asking, and that was a smartphone. Smartphone is who sent that in. Thank you very much. And I hope this.
I think it's a Get smartphone. It's branded as Steve Carell movie or remake, I should say, of Get Smart.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a Motorola Razr that's got Steve Carell's face on it.
Okay.
And when you call it, he says That's What She Said, which is not, it is Steve Carell, but it's not
the same,
from that same project.
Production.
But I guess they just sort of thought he would be more known for that than for some quote from Get Smart.
I mean, it's true, because...
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't recognize if it was like... Unless he said, oh, I'm getting smart, or,
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know if he even said that in the movie. I'd still assume the other reference, honestly. We aren't mentioning it directly, what we know that those quotes are from, but... Because we don't really believe in mentioning that. Anyway... So to this listener, thank you. And if any of you out there, any of you listeners want to, you can tweet at us. You can tell us on Instagram, whatever your questions are. We are at Jock Talk Podcast.
Even if you don't want to, you can still do that.
It, yeah.
You still have that option. Like, don't think that option is limited to people who want to contact us.
Yeah.
It's open to everyone.
And now for today's medical topic, achalasia. Achalasia is the inability of the lower esophageal sphincter of your throat to relax due to the loss of the nerve plexus within the lower esophagus. So basically, your digestive tract normally uses a process called peristalsis to move food along, kind of like how a worm moves. And in achalasia, the patient loses that ability in the lower esophageal sphincter, and that's the part that's just before the food reaches the stomach. So...
I've had this exact issue. You're talking about when a worm gets caught in your throat and everything you eat, it eats before you, and so you just end up so hungry.
So that's a different clinical syndrome, I think.
I have absolutely struggled with that quite a bit.
Okay.
It sucks too, because it's like that he is enjoying all of this good food that I'm spending so much money on. I like to spend money on my dinner, Dr. London.
Yeah, well, ever since you got that worm, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been paying a ton ever since that worm got inside me. But it's really frustrating because I know, like, I can taste it, which is good. I get that benefit of it. Like, I do taste it on my tongue. But I'm so hungry, Dr. London.
But the
worm keeps...
Why have you been increasing your food budget so much since the worm? Like, what about the worm makes you want to eat nicer food? Is it?
Well, I just buy what I feel, Dr. Lennon. I've just started feeling that way. I started suddenly feeling like I'm so tired of eating dirt, which I'm not. I'm not much of a dirt eater.
Not anymore, no.
Like, but that's what I was. I could sort of taste it in my mouth and was like, I'm so tired of eating dirt. I wish I could get a nice ribeye.
Well, the fact that you made because I feel like you were kind of into eating dirt up until recently.
Yeah, like in the 90s.
Yeah. But then the worm came along, and it seems like you've made a transition into just like human food. I feel like dieting just isn't your thing. But in any case, so this achalasia, it typically happens in patients under 50 years old, and it presents with progressive difficulty swallowing, or dysphagia, to both solids and liquids at the same time. Diagnostic testing, it includes a barium esophagram, which will show a bird's beak appearance as the esophagus comes down to a point. The most accurate test will be manometry, which will show a failure of the lower esophageal sphincter to relax. Upper endoscopy will show normal mucosa in achalasia, but it may be useful to rule out cancer. Treatment is simple mechanical.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about how when there's a worm up your butt, like your sphincter can just not relax.
Okay, different sphincter is so yeah. So
because I've had that issue too, where I've got a worm on the other end of this whole system, and so it's eating everything that I'm trying to get out, and so I don't get the satisfying plop of a turd.
That sounds less bad than the.
It's not terrible. It's just like, it's like the worm gets to appreciate all this and I don't.
Is that the relief you feel? Is the plop sound? It's the sound that really lands for you?
Oh, yeah. It's the sound. I mean, it's the acoustics in my bathroom, Dr. London, are incredible.
Yeah, and my bathroom's famously horribly... I need to get a guy to just design the room because it's pretty bad. Like, whenever I hear a plop, it's just echoes, very echoey, and not helpful.
Yeah. Oh, I've tried singing in your bathroom. I understand
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
That's frustrating.
Terrible.
In any case, so treatment for this achalasia is simple mechanical.
I used to busk in your bathroom. Sorry, people might not understand that, but I used to, I had an acoustic guitar in my case, and I would play for dollar bills of people coming and going in your bathroom.
And you made good money, and
yeah, I was making like $65,000 a year plus benefits.
The benefits I think were largely because it happened to be in a doctor's house. But yes, so anyway, treatment is simple mechanical dilation of the esophagus. There's no real cure for achalasia because nothing can restore the normal function of the missing neurological control of the esophagus. Pneumatic dilation is a highly effective treatment that involves the placement of an endoscope that will allow the device to be inflated, which will enlarge the esophagus. And this is safer than surgery, but it's less effective. And it's still, it can cause perforation to the esophagus in less than 3% of patients. Surgery would involve sectioning or myotomy. That's cutting out some of the muscle to alleviate symptoms. And finally, patients may also get Botox injections in the lower esophageal sphincter. But the problem with that is that the effects wear off in 3 to 6 months, requiring re-injection of the Botox.
And the busking that I was doing, it wasn't just like an acoustic guitar performance. It was also, I would do puppet shows, I would do breakdancing, I would do magic. I was a variety. I just wanted to, I was a variety guy. I wasn't in a corner. I have to play Wonderwall on the acoustic.
You did.
No,
Yeah.
I'm painting worms because that's all I can think about now is worms. So I'm painting these pictures of worms. I'm doing these fun puppet shows with worms.
And just...
It's a lot of worm-based art.
Which is, surprisingly, there was a huge demand for at the time. I say surprisingly, but...
Yeah, from like the customers in the bathroom. It was mostly from you.
Yeah.
That was...
All right. Yeah. Well, I think I don't want to plug your music over much because it'll kind of overshadow the guest. If we could move on. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Just check out bandcamp.com/wormageddon.
Okay. All right.
And we're currently being sued by Worms Armageddon, the video game, but that's they're sort of destroying us and the podcast. So if this podcast isn't here next week, it's the Worms Armageddon guys because they've got us over a barrel here. I shouldn't have sort of sold all that merch so quickly. Okay, anyway.
Okay, whenever I said that, let's actually move on now.
Yeah, no, I'm just bummed about this one.
All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right?
That's right, Dr. London. We have a very, very, very special guest today. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great to be on the show. Not a lot of medical shows such as yours are brave enough to give me a platform, but I appreciate you and all you do.
You've had a lot of other shows sort of shut you down, or you've tried to get on those shows, or?
Oh, yeah, I am very good at preaching to the choir, but a left-leaning liberal show, with your liberal agendas, if that's fair for me to say.
I don't know that that's fair necessarily. I think because we aren't really political here. We're just it's just science.
And you say liberal leftist. I'm a pescatarian, so I don't even identify that way.
Oh well, I don't eat fish myself. But science, that's such a liberal buzzword. We're not political. We just believe in science, quote unquote, science. I get where you're coming from.
Well, it's a quote because we say it out loud. That's usually the reason why there's quotes around it. If we say it in our heads, usually we won't have the quotes there. If we write it down, it also will be, out of quotes, but out loud, usually.
Anytime you're saying any word, you're sort of quoting whoever had just said that word before you.
Is that a liberal agenda?
Oh
To
yeah.
be-
Now all of a sudden you've redirected things to speak to talk about grammar. That's such a liberal go-to. Like, oh, my grammar wasn't good because I didn't use quotes the right way. So obviously, I don't have a valid point.
Is that what you're saying? You don't have a valid point?
No, I have a very valid point. It's just that you
Okay,
guys won't let me get to it. You haven't introduced me.
Yeah, let's backtrack a second here. Who are we speaking to? Who are you?
and my name is Dr. LondonSmith.com.
Oh, yes.
This is our producer, Cameron.
Hi.
Sorry.
I
should have
I
introduced
know who you are. I assume you know who I am. You've reached out to me through my podcast, The Pillcast.
Yeah, Cameron, you do all the scheduling stuff.
It's mostly most bookings are a blind event. It's sort of I put my hand in front of my eyes, I go on the internet, I start clicking around until my email application opens, and then I send the email.
That's very ableist. Blind. Okay.
So wait, you were getting on to us about being too leftist for just acknowledging grammar, but now you are mad that I used an ableist slur of blind?
Well, I believe as a doctor, Dr. Jock, took the hypocritical oath, and he's being you both are being hypocrites right now.
I'm not going to disagree with you on Dr. London being a hypocrite. I do want to specify I am not a doctor. I'm a pescatarian.
Right. We've established that.
Yeah.
And I don't eat fish. And
those are two separate. Yeah. Okay. So I guess, I mean, yeah, sure. We all took the same. I took the oath. None of you took the oath, I assume.
I'll take an oath. I'll take an oath right now. I'll take it. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, and Dr. London, I took the QAnon oath, Michael Flynn's QAnon oath, just last summer. Like, I don't understand. I love oaths.
Yeah, or oath. Yeah. So maybe we're getting off the wrong foot.
I just didn't realize that you were going to be such bad hosts that you would invite me on your program and then be so combative to me. Do you want to hear what I have to say, or do you want to just talk about my grammar and my misuse of quotes?
So it sounds like you have a podcast. You said you have you host a show called The Pillcast. Is that what you said?
The Pillcast, yes.
So what is that?
Okay.
What does that mean? What is that about?
We advocate. Here's that buzzword back in your face, Dr. Jock. Science. We are pro pills, pro science.
Sure.
We're specifically what I would like to speak about today is the so-called opioid epidemic, which is such a disgusting word, epidemic.
Yeah, it's not my favorite word. Usually when it comes up, it's a negative connotation.
What is your favorite word?
Ooh, okay.
Cellar door.
No, that's two words.
That's a
Well, let's
vaudeville.
It's debatable.
Maybe.
That's a good word too.
Thank you.
I do.
Hey, look at us getting along, huh?
And I'll take cellar door as one word.
Well, okay. I guess we're not getting along then because that's clearly two words. It's a type of door. So that's an adjective and a noun.
Specificity. You're supposed to be a doctor. What are you going to do? Open up some patient and just be like, I'm going to take out some junk. No, you want specifics. I'm going to take out that junk right there.
Yeah, but
And sorry, I didn't realize you're a surgeon of grammar now. You're a surgeon of how things are spelled and how words are, Dr. London. That's your job.
No, okay.
You walk into a patient's office and you're like, I before E except after C. Was
Okay.
that what you're doing?
No.
You
Okay.
idiot.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. What was your name again?
You tell me.
Okay. Well, okay. So Cameron has all of your sort of PR stuff. Okay. Pillcast. You're really into opioids, and then epidemic. Yes. Okay. Mr. Evil Man. Now.
That is so rude. That is so rude.
Dr.
Evil
London.
man. Oh, because I believe in opioids. You're going to call me an evil. It's pronounced Evilman. My name is Damien Evilman. D. Evilman.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Evilman, I mean, can you're on here. You're very combative. You got mad at us for being combative, but I mean, you're here to talk about the opioid, quote unquote crisis, and to what about it? What do you what do you want to
Once again,
talk
it is
about?
quote unquote because he said it out loud.
Okay.
But the rest also could have been.
The crisis, that's a better word for it than epidemic. The crisis is that opioids have gotten a bad rap in the liberal media.
Oh, because opioids have really positive uses.
They do.
Yeah.
They
So-
do.
I mean, one of the reasons why they've gotten a bad rap is because they were marketed, with false information to physicians like myself.
What
No.
false information?
That they're not addictive.
Name one fallacy. They're not addictive.
Oh, do you think that? Because I think a lot of people
What?
are currently addicted, and that's
No. People are addicted to feeling good. Do you like going to do you watch the comedies on the NBC
Yes.
so you can laugh, so you can chuckle? Do you watch like The Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon?
yeah, because those are the ones I relate to the most.
Oh,
I
are
sort of
you-
would consider those a comedy epidemic, though. So I think that might be going against your point.
the comedy police. Reenu, get the comedy ambulance here.
He got you there, Cameron.
Reenu, we have a malpractice suit. Okay,
I
fine.
mean,
fine.
I
Whatever.
went to Comedy Police Academy for a reason. I mean,
Okay.
thank you for acknowledging
His
my
badge.
title.
Your Rich and Morty's. Maybe that's what you like.
Sure.
Your South Parks. Maybe that's comedy. Oh, you laugh at those. Are you addicted to those? No, you just like to.
I
feel
honestly,
Yeah.
and I don't like it's. And granted, I will say, there is sort of an addiction pathway within the brain, and I don't know that South Park directly causes that. I haven't run the scans myself, but I suspect. But
Yeah, I mean, if we're going by the definition of addiction in that it's
physiological.
something that you
versus- yeah.
have to have that starts actually affecting other aspects of your life, I would say absolutely yes, I have a South Park addiction. I watch the episode where they go to the water park and it fills up with pee over and over and over again. And my friends and family have talked to me about it. We've had the interventions and I've gone to therapy and done rehab and all that stuff. And it's a battle. But it's a disease, though. It's not my fault.
it tells someone suffering from rheumatoid arthritis that your South Park addiction is the same as what they're suffering from. It's not a disease.
He does.
You just like to feel.
Is that what
good.
you're here to talk about? Is how my South Park addiction is the same as arthritis?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is a disease. I think your loved ones are pulling the sheet over your head. I think they're blinding you because of their guilt, because they don't understand the South Parks.
Well, okay. A, they put the sheet over my head because I was going as a ghost for Halloween. B, it wasn't covering my eyes because there were the little eye holes there because it's my ghost costume. So, and I don't know how you figured that out. I don't know how you found that out because I was hidden
Well, you
under
posted
the
the
sheet.
pictures
I-
everywhere. It's hard not to figure it out. But
You have
You know,
My
with
Little
regard to-
Pony bed sheets.
yeah, so you did see the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were on sale, right?
Well, I know.
You're a full-grown man.
Yeah,
They've only custom-made one set of queen-size My Little Pony bed sheets. Of course, it was you as the
Well,
ghost.
he stitched them together. They were.
Oh, they're
It was
custom?
originally
They're
twin
custom?
size.
Oh, do you have an Etsy store?
Yeah, I do. I stitch together various different cloths and pillowcases, all sorts of different things that I think could be sewn
Children's-
together in
yeah.
a sort of a creative way.
Children's-
Could you shoot me the link for that? It's D. Evilman at Yahoo.
It is bandcamp.com/wormageddon. Again, I don't know if by the time this episode comes out, if that link will still work because of the lawsuits that we're dealing with.
So, but yeah, that's where his Etsy store is located. That is a nice redirect.
On Bandcamp? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, and I think we may have gone slightly off the topic, just ever so slightly, but I feel like there was a point at which you were saying that, well, I was saying certainly that the opioid epidemic was, maybe
Crisis, not epidemic.
or crisis, sure, was caused at least in part by the pharmaceutical companies lying to physicians and then the physicians passing on that lie to the patients about the addictive properties and how harmful it could be.
Anything you can do to pass the blame, huh, Dr. London? Someone must have lied to these physicians. Is that how this works?
Yeah, I'm a rep from a drug company. I went to school for almost 4 years. You're a doctor. I would put it on you that maybe...
Wait, you went to
Yes.
drug rep company school?
I took an online course in marketing.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
That took almost 4 years, that course?
Well, I had to get like the general education requirements in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the whole college experience.
I was
Okay,
a
sure.
male cheerleader in high school, and I'm very, very handsome. I blew out my knee doing the pyramid, and they told me I could either model underwear for the Sears catalog, but I have a weird birthmark on my left thigh that I'm very self-conscious of because
They said all of that to you?
yeah.
Yeah, who told you that?
The agency.
Okay,
But
they told you.
They told me that I would be a good drug rep,
Okay.
and I believe in my product.
Yeah. They said you could be a model,
yeah.
but you have that birthmark.
Yeah,
And they said the other alternative would be drug rep.
yeah, exactly. They're like, you're charming, you're handsome, and
Yeah, you're either going to be a model,
yeah,
or drug rep. Okay, so you took one class during your... What did you major in? If you took one marketing class, but what's your major in college?
Major is the one that you do a lot of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on. So did you go to Harvard and they call them concentrations there? Is that sort of what you're getting at in a
I'm going to
roundabout
be honest
way?
with you. I'm very charming, and I didn't really do a lot of the studying. I kind of got by on looks, and my family made a sizable donation to the school.
Okay, so...
Oh, wow, to the online school.
Wow. Well, I guess still congratulations for... When did you... I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry into all your education, but it is sort of part of what I feel like what makes a lot of us who we are whenever we go through the education process.
Oh, easy
Although-
for you to say because you're a doctor. So if that's going to define who we are, then I guess you're just better than me and Cameron.
I think that is easy for him to say. Right? Is that right, Dr. London?
I haven't said it. It's easier for you to say so
look,
far.
I don't want... okay, Mr. Evilman.
Evilman.
Evilman. I'm so sorry. Mr. Evilman. I hope I'm not misunderstanding things, but it seems like you're coming at us with a combative attitude and keep saying these sarcastic things that are unfortunately describing exactly what we believe and sort of how we think. So you sort of come in here and you say, "Oh, you think you're better than us." Dr. London does think he's better than us.
Well, let's reset. I came in hot.
Okay. You know what? I'll reset too.
My mission statement is that opioids are completely safe. They're not only safe, but they're good,
Yes.
and they're good for you. And there is a crisis, and that crisis is, one, usage is going way down, especially since medical marijuana is being introduced as an alternative, and there's misleading information out there, like 93,000 people died from opioid abuse, quote unquote abuse, in
And that's just,
2020.
and that's just a number.
That's just a number.
You know what I mean? 93,000,
Right.
18.
Do
All
you know
of
how
these
many
things
people
are just
died
numbers.
from cancer that in 2020? Nearly 600,000. Heart disease, 6,500,000. That's how you say numbers, 6,500,000. But no one's jumping on like, "Ooh, heart disease is bad. Oh, cancer is bad." No, instead, people like the CDC and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services are getting billions of dollars in grants to tell you that opioids are bad. Why aren't they saying that cancer's bad? Why aren't they saying that heart disease is bad?
That is, I do vaguely remember Dr. Fauci himself saying that heart disease is awesome and it's funny.
Probably.
So
I'm pretty sure he said that.
one little thing here. I feel like maybe, I don't have my ear to the streets like Cameron does, so I can't tell what everyone is saying. But from us who are, how to say it, we the prescribers, from our perspective, the people are saying that cancer is bad and that we should work against it. And same with heart disease. That's also bad.
Again, even with the cancer, Mr. Fauci, he's the
doctor.
He's the pizza chef down at he's the pizza chef down at my pizza store. And he keeps telling me cancer's funny, heart disease is funny, no joke should be off limits, PC culture is destroying America. He keeps going on these sort of conversations, and Dr. London, you're over here saying, well, no, he doesn't say those things. He's a genius.
Okay.
So shut up.
No, I guess that's a pretty good guy. So that's a different Fauci, I think. What's the first name of this pizza guy?
Oh, Doctor.
Okay. So
That's a very common first name. Look at you, Dr.
Yeah.
Jock.
No, I
You
I understand. So one thing I would say is that so Dr. Anthony Fauci is, he's the head of the whatever infectious disease at the National Institute of Health. And so that's one person that I feel like a lot of people reference with regard to our approach to infectious disease. And I think that you, Cameron, are confusing that Dr. Fauci with the Mr. Dr. Fauci who works at the pizza place.
Yeah, the pizza man.
Yeah, pizza man. Sorry, did I pronounce that wrong? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just, we don't want to offend our pizza man listeners.
Our pizza subscribers. Okay, so I think it's just a point of confusion. And I would also say, though, that, we say that cancer is probably bad, and not probably, it's pretty bad, and that heart disease is pretty bad, and
but you're saying those are bad
by
in
my
contrast to opioids, which are good.
They are 10 times as quote unquote bad as opioids. Like, okay, 93,000 people died from opioids.
see, the number sounds big every time
addiction.
you say it.
Yeah, but
I don't know. The way he says it with that voice, it
10.1
kind of makes it sound small.
It takes him so long to say it.
yeah, okay, look at it this way. 10.1 million people ages 12 or older have misused opioids.
Wow, that's so many.
And of that, we can subtract 745,000 that have used heroin. So that's only 9.7 million that misused prescribed opioids. Of that 9.7 million, only 93,000 have died.
Yeah, that's not even. And
It's a percentage
like
game.
like you said before, these are people who are addicted to feeling good and having fun and enjoying life.
Exactly.
So I hear this number of 10 million people. Okay, well, 10 million people also watched, the Game of Thrones. I'm sure they also had a good time up to a certain
point.
You know,
that's the thing. No, I think with both of those, there is a very real metaphor to be found. That if you watch Game of Thrones to the end, or if you take opioids to the end, either way, it's a problem. It's not good.
How so? Oh, you're going to die. Look at some great Americans have, quote unquote, died from opioid, quote unquote, abuse. Prince, were we talking about Prince before he died? No. Who even knew who Prince was?
No one knew.
Mac Miller, he was a rapist.
it was Ariana Grande's boyfriend. No one knew.
Yeah. Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Well, in his case,
The wrestler China. There was a Southern rock musician named Tom Petty. You probably never even heard of his music, but then he died of opioid, quote unquote, abuse. And now everyone's like, ooh, I love Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know China. That was the only one you mentioned that sort of stuck out to me. But yeah, Dr. London, you're ragging on opioid use, but have you never taken a hydrocodone and watched Jeopardy?
Not that. See, that combination,
It's
I'm not
great.
sure is, I'll admit now that when I had my wisdom teeth out, I took some opioids, the minimum prescribed amount that I was advised to take.
What did you take?
I see sort of the confusion. Sorry to interrupt, but I see sort of the confusion. You took the minimum amount. Dr. London, if you go to the doctor and you pretend to still be in pain, they'll re-up that. I think that's where a lot of the miscommunication is. So yeah, you just don't know the trick of it.
So no,
You can get more of those.
I was admitting, cards on the table. Like I have partaken of these opioids, and just giving that disclaimer.
So you've taken them, and now you don't want other people to have them when you know firsthand that they're awesome.
Well, I would say at the time I didn't know. I don't believe that the epidemic was well known or well documented.
Crisis, not epidemic.
Sorry,
Please do not
crisis.
say epidemic.
So
the crisis is that our numbers are down.
Oh wow!
Is that what you're here
We're
for?
not successfully marketing towards children. They still make Flintstone vitamins. When's the last time you saw a child watching the Flintstones? I propose that we make.
I went to Flintstones camp, but
Yes, but you're a grown man, Cameron. I'm talking about small children. Yeah, we have them 12 and older, but what about the children under 12 that maybe might like a children's chewable opioid in the shape of an animal? Like a sickly aardvark or a sewer rat, that tastes like cherry.
And this is a subject that's actually pretty close to our hearts because early on in this show, a couple years ago, a big part of this show was sort of marketing my beer that I was brewing towards the same demographic. But we, unfortunately, a lot of those customers have moved on to another plane of existence, and so we sort of transitioned into a different business model. But I mean, it's all the same thing, Dr. London.
Well, I would say the other business model that we switched to, we are marketing more towards the geriatric, very close to death population. So once again, so possibly if they are on, have you looked into hospice care? I know that 12 years, I shouldn't give advice on this marketing. This is a pretty bad thing that's happening. So I would even say, benzodiazepines, like Xanax, that's usually a lot of doctors won't prescribe that anymore
pretty
either.
Good alternative
'Cause it's
that
so-
we should be
well, 'cause
giving
it's so-
to kids.
It's so widely used, but it's still addictive. So maybe if we just stay away from addictive substances, maybe that's, an answer.
Well, this podcast, our guest here did mention beforehand that we might be a little too in our little political bubble, Dr. London. Maybe we're too in our shell. So everyone has a say here. Dr. London, you say let's get away from the addictive stuff. I say addictive stuff is fun. Mr. Evilman. Evilman. Can we hear your 2 cents?
Okay, listen. I know technically it would be illegal for me to offer you some sort of gift
Oh, good. So you know that.
in exchange of your promotion, but could your producer pause the recording momentarily?
Cameron, can you do that? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hoist it.
Well, let me just.
It's a button that probably looks like
I've got a.
not like a solid square,
Let's
but
see.
like a square.
Honestly,
with a
not the way
gap
he
in the
sets it
middle.
up. Yeah,
Here,
let me.
okay.
I'll pull.
Hold on. Okay.
Just take this out and post. Take this
Well,
out
Safety
and post.
Dolan can. I don't know if the technology.
Dr. Jock, do you own a boat?
Not just one. No.
Not just one. So you are you're a yachtsman?
Yeah. Well, I have 2, one for each foot, and then I have ropes, and I steer with that, and it's kind of a fun game to try to keep both steady while I ride.
Are you thinking skis?
That's what I was thinking
water
at first.
skis? No, I'm talking the actual boat that would
Yeah,
pull you on.
I'll say
Do you-
the amount of times that I try to drive them that way.
What are you driving? Okay, you said
Yeah.
drive. What are you
So-
driving these days?
So I am driving the 2 yachts, but they have. I've been driving
on
them
the
back.
road. What do you
Oh.
drive around to do your errands?
Yes. Okay. I have a little
Would you like a Tesla 3?
tricycle.
Okay, I can get you into a Tesla. We just need your support on this. So, Cameron, start punch this back in. Take out all this other stuff about the Tesla, and let's and then
Okay.
let's take it from opioid. Here, I'll set you up, and Dr. Jock.
Yeah, and we'll just
A very nice,
easily go back
very
into
nice
it.
Tesla. Tesla 3 has autopilot. You're gonna love it. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. So really, what we're looking for are open-minded doctors such as yourself, young doctors who
Yes.
are willing to maybe keep an open mind out there about opioid usage. So what do you say, Dr. Jock?
One thing.
Do we have your support?
Yeah, one thing super closely related, and to that is, aren't the Teslas under investigation for their autopilot system? Like, there's some big investigation. They've killed people. Isn't that?
Oh, and you're blaming that on the opioid crisis as well?
I'm sorry.
doctors,
I don't know
man.
how my mind went
Okay,
there.
Cam, cut this next part out. Okay. Do you like Honda Civics?
Yeah, I have one of those. Yes. I don't
Do you
drive
have a
it.
Honda-
I live in
How
it.
would you like a 2022 model?
Well, that's impossible. This is 2021 is the year right now, so that's not possible.
But the 2022 models are hitting the streets.
Well, it'll
right now.
impossible. Are you a time traveler? I don't.
Sure, I'm a time traveler.
Wait. Okay.
Well, you know what I see in the future? I see a brand new 2022 Honda Civic with you behind the steering wheel.
I'm sorry. You're a time traveler.
All we need you to do is just say, "Hey, opioids are great," and then prescribe them to as many people as you can.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. London, if this guy's from the future, maybe
Well,
he
what-
knows more about this
the
stuff
thing is,
than we do.
if he's
I
from the
think maybe we
future,
should
why didn't you lead
trust
with
him on
that?
this.
With your from the future.
Right. Yeah, I'm from the future. And when your colleagues are going to say, Dr. Jock, how do you sleep at night overprescribing opioids to all your patients? You can say, in a California king, baby, a waterbed. Because I can get you one of those too.
Waterbeds are...
And actually, yeah, and check out my Etsy shop if you want the sheets. I am putting together. It's 4 sets of twin size sheets make for a California king.
It's SpongeBob sheets.
Yeah, My Little Pony, SpongeBob. There's like a lot of different.
You want SpongeBob? I'll have Tom Kenny come over and sing you to sleep every night in a SpongeBob voice. We just need your support. Okay, Cameron. Punch back the show in 3, 2, 1. So, Dr. London.
Okay, punch.
You don't have to say punch. Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
Punch.
Hit. Punch.
No, just punch it
Kick.
in post. Like, you don't...
We don't want him to hurt the computer.
I'm just trying to get a clean edit
3,
for you later. 3,
2. Okay, just a clean punch.
Okay, take it after punch then. So, Dr. London, do we have your support? Because numbers are going up. Like I said, in 2020, 93,000 people, died from opioid.
Are dead. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But in 2019, it was only 70,000. So you want to be part of the cool crowd, right? So what do you say? How do you feel about opioids now, baby?
Yeah, so this is fun to talk about.
Good. You said yes.
I'm sorry. Well, it's... You know what, Cameron, would you mind... Oh, wait, do we have chores?
Oh, do I mind saying yes? No, I don't. Oh,
so let's... Instead of... I don't want to have to worry about this. Let's...
Wait. But before we get into chores, okay, DJ Dylan, stop recording again, or let me punch that in. Okay, instead of getting Tom Kenny to sing us to sleep every night, can you get his coworker on Mr. Show, Jay Johnson, to sleep us tonight? Him and I have started agreeing on a lot of stuff recently.
He's actually under investigation right now. He's an American hero.
He's under investigation for that?
Yeah, you could say so.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he was visiting the Capitol, and then the liberal media was like, ooh, he's storming the Capitol. He's a radical. Ooh. The only thing about him...
They were just tourists.
Yeah, he's radically funny on Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
As Jimmy
Mr.
Pesto.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Pesto, the funniest character on the show. Easy.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers should be called Jimmy Pesto's because really all the stuff with the Belcher family, not into. But when you get me to the Pesto family, I'm all on board.
Now... At first, I was just trying to escape the conversation, but now just these chores have been piling up, and we just have to do it.
Okay, I'm really, really sorry, Mr. Evilman. We have to do these chores. Do you want me to? Explain what's going on, Dr.
to catch him up.
So, for our guest and for all our listeners, Dr. London and I have been neglecting all of our tasks, our chores, everything on our to-do list. We haven't cleaned the cat in, years at this point. Haven't fed the cat, haven't taken the cat out, taken the cat to the vet, haven't plucked the cat at all. His eyelashes
not
are
recently.
insane.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so we created this fun chore wheel. It has all of our chores on it that we need to get done, and every single week we give that bad boy a spin, and whatever it lands on, no matter what, we have to do that chore.
Right.
And Mr. Evilman, would you be willing to actually give our chore wheel a nice big ol' spin?
I will do that if I could get you both to say... so I could put it on my podcast, the Pillcast. Opioids are great.
Is that not going to be sort of a copyright infringement?
I was going to say the same
situation.
There's
with Tony the Tiger. I mean,
Tony the
I don't
Muno?
mind saying it.
Tony the Tiger. We've had him on the podcast, and
It's-
he's really
It's
uptight about this stuff.
it's Dr. Tony Fauci. London was talking about him earlier.
Oh, the pizza man.
And people call him
okay.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the pizza man guy.
Okay. How about opioids? They're magically delicious.
That should be okay, I think.
Okay. Could
That rings another bell.
And I feel like is a little closer to it's more accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
So-
just saying they're great, okay, a taco
Are they-
is great.
Are they
but-
delicious?
Well, I would say magically delicious implies that you sort of travel to a magic land of sort of sleepiness and haziness and brain fog.
I like the way you're the spin you're putting on this. So if you guys could just say like, "Hi, I'm Cameron, and I'm Dr. Jock from the London cast, and opioids are magically delicious."
Okay. So
Then-
hey, I'm Cameron. Opioids and delicious. Have that. And I'm Cameron. Was that good? Was that clean? That was a
now
clean take?
and now Cameron says that he's Dr. Jock.
Okay. I am Dr. Jacques Cousteau. I think that opioids are great. Wait, is that...
No, you
Oh,
couldn't
gosh.
do that one. Yeah.
Okay. I think that opioids are great. I can't get it out of my head.
How about groovy?
Like, I
Could
feel
you
like
say
I'm stuck.
groovy? Since I feel like you're really on the grrr. Say opioids
Ooh,
are
I feel like if we would have to-
groovy.
We'd have to do that. We would have to go back throughout the whole episode and then make me sound like I'm from the 70s.
Which we will-
And that's a lot of
Well, we
edit.
can-
That's a lot of editing.
I think
We can
Dylan
do
can
that.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
really.
he's-
Okay, that's fine.
magical.
We can do that. Dylan, can you go back and make everything that I say sound like I'm from the 70s?
Yes.
Opioids. They're groovy, man.
All right,
That was beautiful. Okay, I'll spin the wheel.
spin the wheel. All right.
I threw out my shoulder spinning the wheel. I'm going to take a Percocet.
Oh, yeah. Can I get one of those if you don't mind? Just sort of sliding it along.
I don't know if we should.
Can I
no,
wash it
probably
down
not.
with one of
Ooh,
your
do you
homebrew beers?
Do you have any of the Flintstone ones? Do you have any of the Flintstone hydrocodones?
I do not have Flintstones because we could not get the Hanna-Barbera company to sign off on them, but I do have animal.
no.
Here is a sickly orangutan with the mange. It tastes like lime, and it is hydrocodone.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Just go ahead and pop that. Oh, gosh.
It's pungent.
It's sour.
Yeah.
I love it.
Green is sour apple. I'm sorry. I thought it was lime, but it's sour apple.
It's pretty good, though.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's it. It hits. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Jock, is that abuse, or is that him just,
Oh.
having
Well, he wasn't
fun?
prescribed it, so
Ooh, yeah.
I guess it's recreational as opposed to prescription. So it's not really the particular topic that we were on necessarily. with the
Ooh, that's
prescription
good.
aspect.
Since
Oh, no, wait, I didn't mean
marijuana is becoming medicinal, maybe we could start marketing recreational opioid use.
Like-
Dr.
like
Jock,
heroin?
I like the way you think.
Let's go into this chore.
That's really good. And I just want to say, any idea that you come up with on this podcast, we do get 10% off the top of that. I'm just going to mention that. So if I start seeing heroin in gas stations later this year, I'm going to be giving you a call. That's all I got to say.
Well, 10% is reasonable. Dr. Jock can put a nice sound system in his brand new Honda Civic.
Yeah,
With
my
that
home.
10%.
Okay.
So what's the chore?
Oh no.
Oh,
Not
no.
this
I
one.
can't believe we have to
Ugh.
do this.
Okay. No, we have to do it.
So we have to do it. So the mayor wants us to create a YouTube channel to finally reach all the teens. He says to be able to send them his special messages that from the voices he gets at night.
Yeah.
And that I don't want to have to do this. The problem he has, though, he does have a YouTube channel, and it's mostly just him talking for 30, 45 minutes straight, just looking down the barrel straight at the webcam. But he says that he's only getting 2-3 hits per video. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know how to reach the youth. You guys are experts about this. Yeah. Let's figure this out. So we got to figure out how to spice up the mayor's YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I have a suggestion right off of the bat. You know what's just unbelievably popular right now?
Brand new?
Have you heard about brand new? Have you heard about this thing called ASMR?
Asthma?
Asthma, I think it may be under that umbrella term.
Because asthma is not as new.
Asthma is the larger.
It's like heavy breathing, right? Like heavy breathing directly into your ears.
It's making funny little noises, tiny, tiny little whisper noises or crumpling noises or scratchy noises that give your body a goosebump sensation.
Ooh,
and teens are loving this. They're getting together at each other's houses and they're giving each other goosebumps left and right. And I think we need to tap into this market, Dr.
Okay.
Mark.
Yeah, and I guess just to advertise the podcast, do you want to do that?
I mean, we got to advertise the mayor's ideas.
Sure.
I would say yes. Let's also advertise the podcast and also advertise whatever else we want to advertise, whatever else we got going on that we want the teens to know. This is actually perfect, given that our guest had a message that he was trying to reach.
Oh, I would love to take a stab at this. I think ASMR
oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Messaging is Cameron. Were you a high school cheerleader?
I was a high school pescatarian.
Oh,
no. Okay.
I mean, that's good thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's dive into this. I guess I'll warm it up a little. Well, we have the mayor's notes, so
I'm going to take the windsock off my microphone so I can really get in there.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Dr. Lundy, we all have to get
to the mic. Let's get here.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit closer.
Into the microphone.
Okay.
So, Dr. London, do you want to go ahead and do the...
Yeah, wet in your lips. Yeah, you got to get a good...
That's what that's for. Okay. So,
good base.
The mayor wanted us to emphasize that the local pond has been stocked with fish. Lots of fish. Trout, maybe? He didn't give specifics.
Trout.
I don't think salmon. I think salmon was expensive. All right.
September is National Recovery Month. If you have a loved one who's addicted to opioids, mind your own business. And do not celebrate September's National Recovery Month.
If anyone knows where my parents are, I think I might have left them at a mall like a week or two ago, but I don't want to admit that because I feel like I would get in trouble. And so I'm just gonna go like this a bit.
Oh, right. And also, let's
I also just sort of wanted to say I agree with our guest in that, just stop being such a nosy Nancy. Just let people live their lives, and if they want to take hydrocodone and watch Martin every night, then that should be choice.
What I was gonna say is that actually listen to the Jock podcast. Listen to Jock Talk podcast.
Take hydrocodone and listen to the Jock Talk podcast while you're taking.
Maybe just not do that. And I think we got it. Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
I had more.
Okay.
There are 1.6 million opioid addicts in the United States, and every year 1.6 Americans try opioids for the first time. You want to be cool, don't you? Join the 1.6 million. Opioid addicts have a
maybe hesitate on that and just ask your doctor about it.
But only if your doctor's cool.
Go into your aunt's medicine cabinet.
No, let's not.
So your aunt.
Okay.
If you go into your aunt's bathroom, she has a different bathroom than we normally use. It's in her bedroom.
Not that one.
And then right above the sink, there's going to be a mirror that you can open up.
Let's not do that.
I just want to go in there.
Only choose doctors that drive nice cars.
No, I mean that's
like 2022 Honda Civics.
So you don't want to go for the pills that like have Walmart or Target logos. There's some that are clearly a prescription. They'll have a doctor's name on it. Those are the gold ones. You want to go for those.
We're talking. What if they do like metformin or something? They'll just get diarrhea and it'll help them control their blood pressure. So like, or their diabetes rather.
Not that far off from taking a bunch of drugs.
I mean, it is taking a bunch of drugs technically. It's just not the hard drug, and it might, if it causes their blood sugar level to drop or whatever, then it could be dangerous for that. But so could the opioids. So I guess there's no real winning here. Okay, I think we got it. I think we're really coming out on top here.
My credentials with this is I am the person that successfully marketed vape flavors geared towards kids, like bubblegum.
Oh, nice.
That was me. That was me. Cotton candy. That was me.
Wow.
Chocolate chip cookies. That was me.
Popcorn lung.
Like, I don't know anything about Gen Z. I don't know anything about kids, but they're all vaping this meatloaf flavored vape juice lately.
That was not me. That was not me. I am not a fan of meatloaf. I think Bat Out of the Hell
I was really surprised
is
by
an
that
overrated album. And
But to capture the flavor, I don't support that, but to capture the flavor is an impressive feat, I think.
I guess I was asking my little cousin about it, like, why are you vaping this meatloaf flavored vape? And he was like, oh, it's like when you get some of the meatloaf chunks stuck in your teeth. It like recreates that feeling.
Oh, the food meatloaf. I thought you meant the singer.
I did too, right up until you said that correction.
Chunks of meat. Oh,
okay. I see the confusion. No. Meatloaf the singer tastes like cotton candy, so people can just use the cotton candy ones you invented to get that taste.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The cotton candy one tastes like human flesh, is what you're getting at. Yeah.
It tastes like Meatloaf the singer, who tastes like cotton candy.
Tastes like
that's what he's most famously known for.
Tastes like human flesh. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying that I'm full of good ideas.
Yeah. No, and I think it's a good time to just maybe bring this to a close. I feel like we covered everything.
No,
Mr. Evilman, or Evelyn, however you say it. Thank you for being on. I appreciate hearing a different perspective, and I'm sorry if my perspective seemed abrasive or oppressive, or factual. But this is sort of the.
Oh, why don't you go ahead and say it, Dr. Jock? Science. Ooh.
What? Hey, look who didn't try to put quotes on it. That's great.
You're one of these facts over feelings guys who's like, oh, but the data says that you're wrong. And it's like, okay, I didn't ask you. A, B.
Let me live my truth.
Get out of my house. Why are you here?
Yeah,
C.
You're all like, the data says opioids are dangerous and addictive, and I say, nuh-uh.
Yeah. How about that? How about here's some data for you? No.
Right.
Okay, and thank you. I love having all these perspectives brought in to the debate, and that we can actually converse like civilized people here. I think we've all learned a lot today. Some of these specific opioid numbers, I weren't off the top of my head. So thank you for introducing us to those facts and figures.
I think Cameron and I learned that you're a nerd.
I didn't learn that. I've known that my entire life. Yeah.
Yeah. You're new here though. So I get that it's
oh yeah. I mean, I can't expect everyone to just know automatically that Dr. London is this gigantic dweeboid.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
Speaking
so,
of nerds, I do want to give a shout out to our hacker friends that when you go to the CDC website to try to get more information about opioid abuse, it goes to dead links. So what up? Leak, pound the CDC.
Okay. So, anyway, speaking of which, would you like to, Mr. Evilman?
Just call me Damien.
Damien, would you like to, let listeners know how they can follow you after this? How they can keep up with you?
Well, you can listen. You know what? I don't think your listeners would like the Pillcast because it seems like a lot of your listeners are probably into facts and comedy and blah, blah, blah. So if you want to listen to comedy, you can listen to like hogwash comedy shows like The Truth Cast. Or there's another one where like a comedian and his wife talk about movies called You Made Me Watch. And then there's another one where that same comedian who's clearly attention starved co-host with his friend called The Jeff Sangwish Show. So your left-leaning listeners who are into science and facts can go listen to comedy hogwash and hooey like that. And people that want to know how cool opioids are can listen to the Pillcast because we're straight up balling.
I will say on the
Wow.
The Truthcast note, we have been on that podcast, and I found that when I was kidnapped to be on it.
Of course you have.
Yeah. Well, and it was against my will, but I enjoyed hearing them out on their sort of conspiracy stuff. Anyway, it was a good dialogue, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Here's a conspiracy for you. If opioids are so bad for you, then why are so many people dying from them every year? People don't die from things that are, I
guess I do know, yeah.
Slamming your finger in the car door. That's bad. You don't see people dying from that. So,
yeah.
Not usually. Well, thank you, Damien Evilman, or Evelyn. Thank you for being on the podcast. And thank you to Cameron, also our producer. Thank you to Digital in the House. Digital in the House.
My mission statement is that opioids are completely safe. They're not only safe, but they're good, and they're good for you. And there is a crisis, and that crisis is, one, usage is going way down, especially since medical marijuana is being introduced as an alternative, and there's misleading information out there, like 93,000 people died from opioid abuse, quote unquote abuse, in 2020. Yeah, that's just a number. Do you know how many people died from cancer that in 2020? Nearly 600,000. Heart disease, 6,500,000. But no one's jumping on like, ooh, heart disease is bad. Oh, cancer is bad. No, instead people like the CDC and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services are getting billions of dollars in grants to tell you that opioids are bad. Why aren't they saying that cancer is bad? Why aren't they saying that heart disease is bad?
My name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
Oh, I've been calling you by the wrong name this whole time.
Oh, it's tough to pronounce.